chips and water for a donation. And then tomorrow's Crazy Days. So starting at 7 o'clock in the morning, and then that evening is the Crazy Cool Board Bar groups. So we got a busy weekend going on, and
well, I'd just like to appreciate everyone coming out to our store this morning. I haven't met a lot of you, but I'm Tony Booth. I'm the owner of Windy Ford. And I just want to appreciate y'all coming out. Chamber's a big deal. Obviously, community's a big deal. I'm in a lot of small communities, and Alva has been great for us. It's been very open-armed. We've met a lot of good friends here in Alva, and we really enjoy it. And one of the stories I'd like to share with you this morning is the fun that we're having in Alva. And the community support has been incredible. And we just appreciate y'all being here this morning. And when we started here September 15th during the COVID deal, when we bought out the Washburns, we started here with 7 employees. Today we're over 22 employees. And we're doing a new addition that we're going to be starting on, and we're going to be adding more employees and more future things, working with the city and the community here. And we're just blessed to be here. We look forward to it, and we look forward to the next step and the next adventure in Alva for us. And we're hoping to get some good information this morning. And once again, thank you for coming. Please take this with you when we leave, please. And nice to meet you all. Thank you very much for showing up. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. All right, so Neal, you ready?
No.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Jody, and thanks for having me. I know that you guys didn't come to hear me, so I'm not going to even. You came because Tony has a nice place here, and he's really done well. And that's why you're here. And got good food. So if you haven't, if you want to come up and get something while I'm speaking, I'm perfectly fine with that. So, economic development, and I know you want to know about the arena, but I'm going to tell you, economic development is never done by one person, ever. I don't care where you're at, that is not who does it. You guys do it. You may not realize you do it, but you do it. I'm grateful that Kelly is here and is the mayor. Some council members are here. If it wasn't for you guys, couldn't do economic development. You guys set the stage when we bring people in. And fortunately, you've come in, you've enjoyed it, not without obstacles that we have to overcome. But the really good thing is our people are willing to work to overcome things. And that's kind of the best thing that's happened since I've got in the job. We've looked at things, how do we make sure that we're ready for economic development? How do we become a community that, or a county that wants economic development? That's the first step. And so we've been working on that hard. Council people and Kelly and Angelica's been wonderful. We've got some companies right now that are looking, and as we continue to improve our business attitude here in Alva and Woods County, I think it'll be like dominoes down the road, hopefully. And you guys know also that nothing like that ever happens quickly. If you work with the state, the feds, we have 2 federal workers here, one with Lucas and one with
Langford.
Grace and Tanner. They come to our things and hear what we need, and they take it and pass it on. So give them a big hand for being here, because that's wonderful. Appreciate you guys. The event center, we'll go ahead and get to it. That's a project, that's a game changer. I mean, for our whole area. A huge amount of money. We're fortunate we have an entity, that cares about this area, and they've basically funded the thing. Okay, now we got to have a way to maintain and operate it. They kind of got that figured out somewhat, and hopefully it's enough. The events that you can have out there I mean, somebody just start naming off events we can have at a facility like this.
Concerts.
Have what?
Concerts.
Concerts,
Trade shows.
trade shows,
Rodeos.
rodeos,
Dog shows.
dog shows.
It's like Family Feud.
We can have all that stuff here, which we have no venue for that right now. Back when I was at the chamber, we were gonna have the state, all of the state chambers come here for like a 3-day meeting. Guess what? We had nowhere to facilitate. We were gonna do it anyway. I mean, we'd have made something work. But we had nothing for that kind of stuff. No meeting rooms, no chamber events where you could bring in people, have meetings. I mean, we're gonna be able to do all that. So I know everybody gets wondering, well, golly, we've been working on that for 6 years. Well, guess what? When you deal with the government on any kind of program, it takes a lot of time. For example, we thought we had everything done. I mean, we years. We got, yeah, you got everything, we're ready to go. Get a call, oh, heck, sorry about this, but we need this. What? We did one. Well, yeah, but it wasn't as full as we wanted. So we're gonna ask for this. So guess what? You spend more money and get another report. So that's the kind of stuff that we've been dealing with. Hopefully, and I'm not gonna say it's a definite deal, but hopefully sometime in the next several months, we'll be ready. They'll have everything they need, and they'll say, okay, go for it. I mean, when that happens, I guarantee you, the newspaper's going to know about it, the community's going to know about it, and there's not going to be anybody more excited than that group that's been working on it. Trust me. I'm going to open it up for questions.
So last I heard, is the money still short because the price of lumber and labor and getting materials? That's still an issue. You guys are about 15% off your budget.
Now that's been taken care of.
Okay.
Sheriff had a meeting and
Okay.
That issue's kind of been resolved. What we're hoping, the last thing we heard is the bid would only last for 2 weeks because of the way everything is in the world right now. I'm hoping, because they told us that the stuff is coming down, so, you know, I don't know how far it'll come, I don't know when they'll pull the trigger, but at some point, it's all going to come together, it's going to happen.
Well, most people, I don't know if they're the business people, need to understand, this is a great thing because, it's going to take 2 years to build this project. Your hotels, your restaurants, every place in town is going to benefit out of service and food industry and stuff, because I've been involved in these communities where we put convention centers in and stuff like that. It's an unbelievable ride. We need to get this passed for Alva.
Yeah. It'd be huge. I mean, a lot of people don't understand what that means to a community our size. So hopefully at some point, and I think everybody's on board. Am I wrong? Everybody's excited?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I had people here from out of state, and they like Alva. They like the people they met, which, sometimes surprised me. So, I think at some point, I'm just a traffic director. I just point out spots and people start doing things. So, that's where we want to get. And I just want you guys to know that you're the big part of it. I mean, we can't do anything without you guys. So just keep that in mind. A positive town, where they are all for progress address and things like that, people see that when they come in. I heard some things this past week that, because I live here, I don't see. I mean, we overlook a lot of that because we're so used to it. So what I want to do is thank you for who you are and what you do. I want to thank Kelly and the city council because I know they have issues they work on every day, and everybody may not understand all those issues, but you know they're trying their hardest to work for the people of Alva, and the commissioners do a great job of supporting everything in the county. We're just extremely lucky. What's the sign say, Jody, that the chamber has out? Bumper stickers?
Oh, lucky me, I live in Alva.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's fact. But none of it can be done without the people in the communities.
So I just have one more question. If the money is all there, then what's the red tape? The commissioners, the county
No,
should
no,
be able to
it's
approve all
all-
of it. Just if the money's there, this should just be let's build it and go.
Well, you would think so. But because of the way it's set up, where they get so much a year, every year for however many years it is.
Correct.
We have to borrow money.
Correct.
Okay, so we went through SBA. Okay, SBA has certain rules, even though the money's been approved, guaranteed for the project, you would think it would be that easy. I mean, it should be, but it's not. These guys can tell you, there are so many red tape rules, because now, even the building's appraised by how much is donated, instead of it's so many square feet and all this. We're talking government rules, we're not talking logic, or business sense. Then you have to have archaeological surveys done. It's a field, it's never been used for anything. Well, they still want all that. The Indian, you have to send off to the Indian Bureau to make sure, you know, there's nothing there. I mean, the red tape is way, way more than you and I going out and building a building for our business. I mean, it's ridiculous. But we follow the hoops because we're going to borrow the money, and it's just seems like every time you think you have something and everybody's on the same page, something else comes up. And I can tell you there's been a lot of money spent, you know, just to get to where we are. I mean, a lot. I could have built several big buildings with just that. So it's not that they want that this group is taking that long, because they have nothing to do with it. They want it built, you know, 3 years ago. But we go through the hoops so we can go through the program. Yes.
And you'll hire a full-time employee that will seek out the events. It's not
Right.
just Billy sitting there.
It's going to be a professional. It won't be just Joe Blow off the street. It's going to have to be somebody that knows events, knows the whole circuit, excuse me. And they will run it. I mean, they know how to run an event center. Rhoda.
Two questions. Is the restaurant still in the plan, and how many acres is that gonna sit on?
I can't tell you the exact acreage it sits
It's in
on.
the northeast corner of that section.
Yeah. Now, and I'm going to tell you off the top of my head, which is not a good thing for me to do, but I'm pretty sure there's over 200,000 square feet under roof.
Okay.
So it's huge.
Neal, as long as they hold you accountable for it, I think it was 40 acres.
40?
Yeah, it's 40 acres.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't have.
That's the whole footprint.
The whole-
As far as the number of acres that the building
Yeah,
takes
no,
up, I don't know.
The total that it's.
The total is 40 acres, yeah.
And is the restaurant still?
As far as I know, it is. Now, because of building costs and all that kind of stuff, they may have to leave something out and do it later. I don't know. See, none of that's for sure. But I know the group wants to do all of it and get it done and take advantage of it. So I'm going to say I hope there's a restaurant.
It's gonna have the floor that they can make solid and
Yeah.
play sports and do a rodeo quote.
The arena, I think they decided is going to be a dirt, and then we'll have ways to, change the dirt, and you'll be able to do different things. They've got, I don't know. There's so much to it that.
They'll be able to put another surface down on top of that arena floor, and they could have basketball tournaments, they could have
Yeah.
virtually anything.
Also,
I'll speak a little bit to Neal's red tape that he was talking about. I know that every several months or so, when they hit another snag, the government needs something. That we've got something on our agenda Monday night that has been through our planning commission and has had to now go to city council. It's just another thing that the governmental entities are wanting to have in place. And I say governmental, I know city's government too, but this federal level stuff that they want in place before they'll even give them the green light. So Monday night we'll be voting on more stuff to help the arena move forward.
Right. So what I'm saying, it doesn't take just one thing. It takes all the entities. I mean, we've had the county involved, the city involved. I mean, you probably don't know this, but Alva in Woods County sets precedents on a whole lot of economic development stuff that has never been done. And so that's one reason sometimes it takes longer, is because it's never been done. When we did Avard, from concept to end of construction is 9 years. So nothing in economic development happens overnight. We've worked with businesses that we're trying to recruit here. Months. And if they get a whiff, read something in the paper negative, they call, hey, what's going on? How come that didn't happen? Well, it's going to happen. So, I mean, everything has an effect on economic development. Personally, I would, let's see, this is July still. By the end of the year, I would like to see us have 4 new businesses in town, the event center started, and things just starting to roll.
Can you put that in writing?
Huh?
Can you put that in writing?
No. No. But, if we don't have any goals, we never get to where we're going.
Neal,
Yeah.
how many businesses are looking at the Woods County, Alva area right now? And what are the challenges to getting them to commit to coming here?
Well, I'm one of them. I'm approved for another manufacturer, and I'm not coming to Alva yet because I need to see a little more growth to come into here, and I want to put a motorsports business in this community, and I'm approved, ready to go.
Right.
But I need to see something more, to be able to bring those people in. I know we have, where they go to the dunes, and I'm looking at buying some property on the other side of town, and I just bought the property next door from Kevin, the field there, but I'm ready to grow, but I need something to help me take that next level.
And I'll just say this out loud. Our city codes have some challenges if you're wanting to build an Alva. And so, because, like I said, we got a great city council and a mayor and a manager that are working. They understand that and they see that. So they're making those changes. And they'll bend over backwards to help a business that wants to grow or needs something where they're at. So those are the real challenges right now, and those are getting addressed. Infrastructure. You've got to make sure that all the infrastructure for business is in place. Water, roads, internet, gas, electricity, all those things. Well, I think a lot of times we think, well, we can just go build there. Well, then you got to deal with all those utilities before they can even start doing anything. So we have to make sure that our industrial parks, whether it's Avard, City, Winoka, you know, all those have to be ready for somebody to come in and start. Because those delays cost somebody money. And in order somebody to invest, they want to make sure that they can get up and going. So that's kind of what our whole area has been working on, is infrastructure, making sure where we're at need to be. And that's a slow process. Utilities are almost as bad as government. So, and those are the issues that we face in Woods County and that we're trying to, I mean, how many of you have excellent internet at your house or at your business? That many, huh? So that's one of the issues we're trying to tackle, is making sure, like, if a business needs 300. And all this is new to me because I've just been learning this. You get 300 megawatts in, 300 out. Well, used to, you didn't need as many going out as you did coming in, because we pull it up on the computer and that's all we did. Well, now there's Zoom meetings, conferences, you know, all kinds of things on video. Well, if you don't have the right speed, you know, it sits there and buffers, and then when it comes back on, he's already way over here on this. So that's an issue. The other thing, you know, COVID in a way has helped us as a rural community, because people don't, in the big cities, are not required to be there at the building anymore. They can do computer stuff wherever they want. So if we get to the point where we're in that category throughout, we can have those people moving here in a rural area where what they're wanting to do, and they could work from here in a company in New York. So, you know, it's kind of opened everybody's eyes when you have a big metropolitan, you're packed in there, and now everybody says, well, we want to be in the rural areas. So we just need to be in a position, excuse me again, to help them. And we'll take them. So.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm glad you said that. I have a question.
I'll see if I can answer.
Okay, it seems to me that I see a lot of people leaving. So, and there's not a lot of people filling the space, so to speak. So, and there aren't a lot of jobs in the area. So how are we creating that? What are we doing to bring people here to create the jobs? My husband is in oil, right? So that's really gone. So what is left?
What's left, we have a bunch of natural resources here that most people don't have, most areas. We got iodine, we got salt. Both of those have manufacturing, and they're scattered, well,
They're
salts.
way out. And I'm going to say something, and this really isn't to be ugly.
No, you go ahead.
Okay, the pay really isn't all that well. The cost of living has really gone up here. So
Okay, where is the cost of living gone up, in what area?
well, the cost of housing has gone up from when we moved here 10 years ago. The cost of housing then wasn't as high as it is now.
So 10 years ago is when the oil boom was going on. Cost of living for a rent house then was skyrocketed.
Well, we
And I
can,
can tell you, because I got rent houses,
right,
they were charging people $1,500 for rent. Now, my rent, we never changed. It stayed the same, but I'm saying some went way, I mean, ridiculously high. There's a lot more houses available now than there was. You drive around, there's for sale signs all over.
yeah, there's a lot.
Now, I can't answer on rent houses. I mean, I know what I've got. I know what's available. When you look around as a whole, it's pretty cheap. Brenda can tell you, she's a real estate agent. That kind of thing goes like this, depending on what's going on. Is there a lot of excess? No. Individuals own the homes that they rent out. So nobody can regulate, that's up to them. So you want to find somebody that rents that's reasonable. How do we change that? The things we've been talking about. Having all your infrastructure, having everybody pulling for a positive direction. We've got a couple companies right now looking at Alva and manufacturing. If they decide to come, I mean, it's better than average pay around here. So that's where you start. You start with what you have, try and make them better, and then keep building on that as you go. Because once you get to a certain mass, then things just start happening automatically. People start coming, and we would have the infrastructure for whatever they're looking for. Does that make any sense?
I know people are moving to Alva.
Yeah.
I mean, we're getting to have 30-some families move to Alva with, related to the Bill Johnsons. Tony, you've had people that are coming to Alva. I know people are moving to Alva. I think we do get caught up in the perception that more people are leaving than are coming, and our population numbers aren't changing.
No.
To indicate that. We'll get our census information out, or we won't get it out, we'll receive it here before long to find out, how things came in. But I don't think we're going to see any dramatic change over the last 10 years.
Well, here's the other thing. Oklahoma, as a state, is #1 in doing business in the United States. We rank #1 as far as all those factors. Okay? The other thing is, I think we're #2 as far as affordability, housing, and that includes Oklahoma City and everything else. So, we're not doing too bad. Unemployment, we're 3rd or 4th in unemployment. More of our citizens are working than, a bunch of states. So we're doing good in that respect pre-COVID or post-COVID.
I haven't looked at the numbers in a while, but since I became mayor in 2015, and since then, at one time, Alva was rated as the most cost-effective place to live in the state of Oklahoma.
Yeah.
When there's jobs out there too, everywhere I look, McDonald's,
Yeah.
I'm hiring, we need 3 more positions currently today, and so it's,
There's
I think
actually
every business owner's hiring. I don't know which one's not hiring, just to let you know, so.
Well, and that's what I
That's a
get
good
from the owners of businesses. We can't find the employees.
Correct.
And,
Is that one of the things that holds us back for bringing in?
well, yeah, they're gonna look at workforce,
Yeah.
I guarantee you. And, we're getting a new website, and I've got a 75-mile radius that they'll look for workforce, because they travel here. I mean, in a rural area, they'll travel but I don't want them looking at Alva, period, because that's not where our workforce is. We got Kiowa, we go up into Kansas and all that kind of stuff. So to give them a true picture, we kind of put it there automatically so that they don't get the wrong idea. And I'll tell you, the guy that's looking right now, he's from Oregon. First trip here, we went to the city office because he was real concerned about permits, building permits and all that kind of stuff. Because right now he's building a new house for him and his family. They pay around $30,000 to $45,000 in just permits. That doesn't have anything to do with building. So I said, well, I think our permit may be $100 or $50 or something like that. And he said, seriously? I said, I'm not going to say for sure because I haven't had a permit and I don't know when. So we took him to the city office. She looked it up and she says, well, okay, if you get a new water meter and all the permits with it, it's $2,500 because your water meter's $1,000. Well, his eyes, are you kidding me? No, that's it. Okay, so that was a plus. Okay, so then he asked about workforce. And that's always a tough one. Because I don't know what everybody's qualified for that lives around here. It's not written down, it's not publicized, but I know, because I've worked in several areas, I know that our employees, for the most part, probably 90%, show up on time, do the work, and that's unusual. This guy is dealing with stuff where he goes downtown and somebody's shooting up with heroin, and the cops can't do a thing about it. So,
Liberal state.
yeah. So, issues when it comes to economic development are so wide and broad that and one person does not control any of it.
And I'll tell you, two of our greatest assets are our educational facilities. Northwestern, they bring in kids every year, and if they have something to do here, like if we get an arena, they're more apt to stay around here and do something. All right, and we got a great training facility out at Votech. They could almost train in anything if we needed it to train to help those businesses come in. So I think we have some great.
Well, and you can bet that when he was here, he saw those and
Yes.
visited each institution.
Right.
Because those are key.
Yeah.
He's in a specialized area. So in order to get the skill, the tech center can train his employees to run whatever equipment it is he's going to have. How many areas have that? There's 35 tech centers throughout. I don't know if my wife is still here or not.
She is.
29.
29 tech centers around, Oklahoma. So we have one. It's pretty impressive if you're looking to locate somewhere. So,
And within the 70-mile window, you have 3 or 4.
yeah, that's exactly right. And they each specialize in something a little different. So we've got a pretty good location. I've taken him out, he's met a lot of you. And I will tell you, he was here the week before Nescatunga, and Vern Metcalf invited him to our meal before. Now, that worried me. But you know what? He had a great time. And so the thing is, you guys do a lot of the economic development, don't even realize it. We take them into your place of business. We, shop at certain places, the hotels take care of them. All that says something to the people coming here. Everybody. And anything that I could say, he's thinking is candy coated, put in a package, here you go. So I take them around to the people because I know what we're like. And I know you guys are gonna be extremely good to them. And it all works out. So I just want you to know you play a key role in economic development.
On some of these companies, you're working on these larger companies, and the county got together and made them an offer to come to the community with some tax savings or some easement on permits or some offers, I guess, to employees to move in here and stuff. And like Tulsa's doing it, they're very successful. Their employment rate went all the way down almost to nothing when they offered that deal to come work in Tulsa. And it sounds like that's kind of taken off a little bit.
It is, we're looking at state incentives to help us. You know, he got all those. As far as local, I mean, we're gonna be limited on what we can do locally. And the city has been outstanding on that kind of stuff. You know, sometimes it's not the amount that they're offered, but seeing the willingness to help that makes a difference to them. So that willingness, I mean, you can't put a number on it. So,
I mean, this is a chamber event. I'll go ahead and let everybody know this, but with the city, we do offer for existing businesses a facade grant, basically. And so it's a matching grant. You don't have to spend $5,000, but we'll match up to $5,000 for up to a $10,000 project for any one business in town. And we've got enough to set aside in this year's budget to do that a couple times, and depending on how much each facility is looking for. But signs, showrooms, windows, parking, all that kind of stuff that's going to make your business more appealing to potential customers. We've set aside some funding for you guys to apply for that. There's an application on our website, or you can call City Hall and look at that. But it's
I can tell you that works. We used it at the bowl. I mean, it was, and the turnaround from the time our money went out till it even came back was like that. I mean, they paid for half our signage.
And I might say at the chamber board this week, we discussed setting up a fund that we could maybe do 25% of that 50%. So we don't know for sure, but we're looking at that also.
that'd be great.
so, I mean, there's some things out there. And any more questions? Just ask. If you have any questions?
Let's build it.
Hey, Neal, do it one. Can you give us a heads up when you may be coming in with someone?
Sometimes.
I know, it's just, you got me last time, I smelled like fish and looked like I just came out. And then I gotta go meet this guy, I'm like, oh great, this is great timing, yeah.
And I will tell you that if you haven't worked with Grace and Tanner, get with them if you need something or have questions, because they're a wealth of knowledge. Every time they see my number come up, they go, oh, God, what's he want now?
It's not true.
But they've been great, and they're going to help. So, anybody else? Yeah.
How many people on the arena is expected for, to operate? You know, you've got an event director and you've got this big building. How many people is it gonna take to operate that facility?
Sonia's taking care of it. She's gonna do all of it. Her and Todd, they will take care of it. Honestly, I know there's an event director. Sonia, you or Todd can answer that better than I can.
I'm gonna defer to Todd, actually.
I figured you would.
I think it's undetermined at this time. It'll probably be it could be a multitude of people. It's gonna definitely take more than one, and it might be an agency. We looked at that, so.
I can tell you this, that when it's done, it'll be a first-class, first-rate operation. I mean, I've been excited since they announced even trying. So, and you guys know that this is not the first time they've worked on. I mean, this has been an idea in one form or another for many years. And had it not been for Jim, it probably wouldn't have ever really taken off. And then Todd's taken over, and Todd's the driving force of the project, so.
No, that's not true. We have a 7-member board.
And even if we would,
I
we
said
wouldn't admit to it.
driving, I didn't say the only one.
What's our plan to keep a manager or keep a facility person here? Last month, Casey Murdoch mentioned a lot of how Woodward struggled to keep someone with theirs. Other bigger agencies are hiring them. So what's our plan to keep them attracted in here, planning events focused on the Alva community and not on the bigger and better things?
You guys, our town.
His quality of life while he's here.
Excuse me, I'm gonna.
Was that specifically, though, the case with Woodward, wasn't that specifically because the person was a county employee?
I think that's what it was, the county employee, and there
Or
was a
maybe
state
that's how-
statute that
there
said
you
a
go.
county employee couldn't make more than an
The
elected
salary.
official.
So ours won't be structured that way. We could pay.
I can assure you, all those things have been taken into consideration because that committee, I mean, they thought through 100,000 different scenarios on all kinds of things, and I mean, and that's not easy to do. But I mean, this has not been put together without hours and hours and hours and hours of thought, and all of the different scenarios and things like that. How long have you been working on that, Todd?
There's been plenty of mistakes and plenty of failures during this whole process. There will be many more.
Yeah.
But being able to overcome one obstacle and move to the next is what's going to drive the success.
Which is tough to do, isn't it, Todd? You get discouraged. You think it's not going to work. But they've never given up. They've never stopped working. I can't tell you how many hours they put in on this. It's just impossible to calculate. And the reason not one of them gets paid, the reason they do it is because they love the community. I mean, when you have that kind of commitment in your community, great things will happen. So, any other questions? Because I'm standing between you and the good stuff, and he wants you guys to eat it all up. So, I guess if there's no other questions, then we'll let you eat.